Hey Yankees fans, welcome to Yankees Rumors and News, your go-to spot for the latest buzz and updates about our team. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a scoop. The baseball world has been waiting for the final piece of the offseason puzzle, and now the wait is over. Cody Bellinger is officially returning to the New York Yankees on a 5-year contract, worth $162.5 million. A deal that signals the team's desire to keep the core of its lineup intact after a year that ended in disappointment. This move closes out the free agent market for the top hitters, as Bellinger was the last of the big names still available, and it ultimately makes sense that he would return to the franchise where he rediscovered his value and helped revive a lineup that had struggled to produce in critical moments from the moment the offseason began. It felt inevitable that Bellinger would end up back in New York. The Yankees' offseason, to this point, has not delivered the kind of splash that many fans expected, and the team's offense still felt incomplete. The market for hitters took time to heat up, and once the other top bats found new homes, the attention turned squarely to Bellinger, with Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette already signed elsewhere. The leverage for a longer contract diminished, and the Yankees were able to avoid the 6-year commitment that Bellinger reportedly sought. Instead, the 5-year agreement provides stability for the team while still giving Bellinger the opportunity to reassess his future after 2 or 3 seasons, thanks to the opt-out clauses built into the deal for New York. The return of Bellinger means that the outfield will once again feature one of the most formidable trios in baseball. Alongside Aaron Judge and Trent Grisham, Bellinger will slot back into a lineup that has the potential to be explosive, particularly if the rest of the roster can stay healthy and deliver consistent production. Judge remains the centerpiece, the kind of player who can carry an offense for stretches, but Bellinger's presence adds a different kind of power and athleticism. Grisham, meanwhile, brings a strong defensive profile and a steady bat, and together they form an outfield that can dominate both at the plate and in the field. The Yankees' plan seems clear: keep the offense intact, hope for better postseason execution, and build around the stars who have already proven they can win big games. The story of Cody Bellinger's career is one of remarkable highs and unexpected lows, and it is precisely that roller coaster trajectory that makes this contract so intriguing. He burst onto the scene with the Los Angeles Dodgers, winning Rookie of the Year in 2017, and then capturing the National League Most Valuable Player award in 2019. That MVP season, in which he posted 8.7 wins above replacement and hit 47 home runs at just 23 years old, made him look like a future generational talent. The sky seemed to be the limit, and the baseball world began to imagine a career filled with multiple awards and historic achievements, but then the path became less smooth. The shortened season in 2020 was a disappointment, and in 2021 the wheels truly came off. Bellinger struggled mightily, appearing in only 95 games and producing one of the lowest values in the league. His performance in 2022 was healthier, but still far from the superstar level that fans had grown accustomed to. The Dodgers, having seen the decline, eventually moved on, and Bellinger found a new home in Chicago in 2023. The change of scenery initially seemed to work, as he rebuilt his value and looked like the player he once was. But the regression returned in 2024, after he signed a 3-year deal with the Cubs, leading to the trade that sent him to New York in a move many viewed as a salary dump. The Yankees, however, benefited from that trade more than anyone could have predicted. Bellinger responded with a strong season, posting a 4.9 WAR and hitting 29 home runs. With a 125 weighted runs created plus, he was a key part of the offense, playing alongside Judge and helping the Yankees remain a constant threat in the American League. His contributions were especially important because the Yankees have struggled in recent years to find consistent production from the middle of the lineup outside of their superstar. Bellinger provided that missing piece, and his return now signals that the organization believes he can build on that success rather than regress again. The contract itself is structured in a way that gives both sides room to breathe. The 5-year length provides the Yankees with a long-term option, without locking them into the kind of commitment that would be difficult to escape if Bellinger's performance drops. The average annual value, at $32.5 million, is significant but not outrageous given the production he delivered in New York last season. He also receives a $20 million signing bonus, a substantial upfront payment that underscores the team's desire to reward him for his impact. The full no-trade clause is another sign of confidence, and it gives Bellinger a level of security that many players in his position would not normally receive. The opt-outs after the second and third years are the most interesting elements, because they allow him to potentially re-enter the market at 32 years old, a time when he could still command a major contract if he continues to perform at a high level. This structure is also a reflection of the Yankees' cautious approach. They were hesitant to offer the 6-year deal Bellinger wanted, and the opt-outs give him the chance to chase that longer commitment later if he proves he is worth it. It is a compromise that makes sense for a team that has seen too many long-term contracts become burdensome. The Yankees have a history of making big commitments, but they also understand the risks that come with a player whose career has been defined by inconsistency. By giving him the opportunity to leave after a couple of seasons, they protect themselves while still securing a key piece of their lineup. From a team perspective, the Yankees entered the offseason needing to respond to a painful postseason loss. In the American League Division Series, they were beaten by a divisional rival, and the feeling among fans and analysts was that changes were necessary. Yet the offseason has not produced the dramatic reinforcements that many expected. Trent Grisham returned after accepting the qualifying offer, and the Yankees made a trade for left-handed pitcher Ryan Weathers from the Miami Marlins, a move that offers upside but also carries risk. The most crucial potential addition remains the return of Jarrett Cole from Tommy John surgery, a development that could dramatically improve the rotation if he is healthy and effective. But beyond that, the roster still feels like it needs more firepower, especially if the goal is to challenge the top teams in the American League. Retaining Bellinger, however, is a major win because losing him would have created a significant hole in the lineup. The Yankees are a franchise that can afford to be picky, and they have shown that they are willing to pay for talent. But the market for hitters this winter was strange, and the slow start made it difficult for the team to make moves without overpaying. Once the other top bat signed, the Yankees' path became clearer. They could focus on bringing back the player who had already proven he could thrive in their environment rather than chasing an unproven alternative. In that sense, the decision to re-sign Bellinger is a statement of confidence in what he can provide, both offensively and as a presence in the clubhouse. Looking ahead to the season, the Yankees still have time to make additional moves, and it would not be surprising to see them become active in the trade market. As spring training approaches, the team's core offense is intact, and that gives them a foundation to build from. But the overall impression is that this offseason has been underwhelming compared to the expectations that come with the Yankees' name. New York is a franchise that is judged by championships, and anything less than a deep playoff run will be viewed as a failure. That pressure is part of what makes the Yankees unique, and it is also part of what makes Bellinger's return so significant. He is now part of a team that expects greatness, and the question is whether he can deliver it consistently enough to push the Yankees past the postseason barriers that have held them back. The narrative is clear. The Yankees are banking on Bellinger to repeat and exceed his strong performance from last season to provide stability in the outfield and to help the team finally achieve the postseason success that has eluded them. For Bellinger, the contract is an opportunity to prove that his career is not defined by the lows, but by the ability to bounce back and perform at the highest level when it matters most. The 5-year deal gives him a platform to build a legacy in New York, and it gives the Yankees a chance to once again field one of the most feared lineups in baseball. Now, the stage is set, and the only thing left is for the games to begin and for Bellinger to show whether this reunion will end in triumph or leave the same questions unanswered that have followed him throughout his career. If you're enjoying the updates, drop a like and let us know in the comments your thoughts on this rumor. Hold on to your seats, folks, because the baseball world is buzzing with a piece of news that could absolutely reshape the landscape of Major League Baseball. And it's the kind of story that you hear once in a blue moon and immediately know it's going to dominate the off-season chatter for months. Reports are coming in that the New York Yankees have officially received the yes from Cody Bellinger, and if you're a fan of baseball, or even just a fan of jaw-dropping trades, this is one that will leave you speechless. Imagine the iconic pinstripes finally adding one of the most dynamic, high-impact players in the game today. And the implications this has for not just the Yankees, but for the entire league, are absolutely staggering. We're not just talking about a run-of-the-mill signing or a small trade. This is the kind of blockbuster move that shifts power, changes narratives, and instantly makes the Yankees one of the most talked about teams, not just in the league, but across the entire sporting world. Now, before we get carried away, let's dissect what this could mean, because the surface level excitement is only the beginning. Bellinger, as many of you know, is a player who can change the outcome of a game with one swing. His ability to combine power and athleticism, his knack for making those highlight reel plays in the outfield, and his capacity to perform under pressure have made him one of the most coveted talents in baseball today. The fact that the Yankees have reportedly secured his agreement is shocking, but when you think about the Yankees' strategy over the past few seasons, it starts to make a kind of sense. They have been methodically rebuilding around both a winning core and a superstar-heavy approach, trying to blend the old-school Yankees power tradition with modern analytics and elite talent acquisition. Adding Bellinger to that mix could be the final piece of a puzzle that transforms this roster into something truly monstrous. But let's talk about the trade itself, because sources are calling it absurd. And after digging into the details, you begin to understand why. While exact terms are still shrouded in a bit of mystery, rumors suggest that the Yankees had to give up a package of prospects that would make any general manager wince. We're talking about players who are not just highly rated in minor league systems, but are also considered future stars by virtually every scouting report. The kind of prospects that, under normal circumstances, teams would hesitate to part with, even for an established superstar. And yet, the Yankees were reportedly willing to push this deal through, showing that they're committed to immediate contention, rather than simply developing talent for the distant future. There's also talk that there may be additional financial maneuvers involved, some creative structuring of contracts, or even the potential inclusion of players to be named later, all designed to make the deal palatable from both a competitive and a financial standpoint. What makes this even more fascinating is the timing. Bellinger agreeing to join the Yankees right now could have a ripple effect that we haven't even begun to fully grasp. Other teams that were rumored to be in the mix may now have to pivot, and suddenly, the free agent landscape shifts in an instant. Players who may have previously considered smaller market teams or longer-term contracts could now be looking at the Yankees as a magnet for top-tier talent. And from a narrative perspective, think about how this impacts the American League and the National League if Bellinger slots into the Yankees outfield or even as a cornerstone bat. Suddenly a team that was already competitive becomes almost untouchable. At least in terms of headline-making potential, this is not just a move to improve the roster. It's a strategic statement that the Yankees are all in, that they are willing to swing for the fences both literally and metaphorically, of course. We have to temper our excitement with the realities of baseball. Trades like this, while exciting, come with enormous pressure. Fans will have sky-high expectations, and every at-bat Bellinger takes in a Yankees uniform will be scrutinized as if the fate of the franchise rests on it, which, in a sense, it does. But if there's anyone equipped to handle that kind of pressure, it's Bellinger. His track record shows he can rise to the occasion, whether it's delivering in a playoff game, making a defensive gem that changes momentum, or simply being the kind of player that energizes an entire clubhouse. And we can only imagine what this does to the Yankees fan base. Social media is already on fire with speculation, memes, and debates about how this affects the team's chemistry, lineup construction, and playoff odds. The energy is palpable, and it's reminiscent of the kind of excitement that only truly seismic moves in sports can generate. One of the more intriguing aspects of this potential trade is the fit between Bellinger and the current Yankees roster. The synergy could be electric. Imagine pairing his power with the consistent production from the team's infield stars, or his defensive range complementing the outfield coverage already present. Analysts are already breaking down potential lineup combinations, and the possibilities seem endless. There's also the human element. How does Bellinger mesh with a clubhouse known for its intensity and high expectations? From all indications, he's a player who thrives under scrutiny, someone who enjoys being in the spotlight and using it as fuel to elevate his game. If that translates to the Yankees locker room, we could be looking at a transformation that goes beyond statistics, a shift in culture, energy, and ambition that could carry the team deep into October, where every game becomes a defining moment. It's impossible not to think about the broader implications for Major League Baseball as a whole. Moves like this force other franchises to reconsider their strategies. Suddenly, teams that were comfortably planning for gradual growth are faced with the reality of a Yankees roster that could dominate not just on paper, But in execution, competitive balance questions rise. Debates about spending, payroll, and the future of star-driven teams flare up, and every analyst from coast to coast starts recalculating projections. Bellinger's agreement is not just a transaction. It's a statement that sends shockwaves through the league, signaling that the Yankees are fully committed to building a powerhouse. That is difficult to compete within the immediate term. This is the kind of move that could define an era, or at the very least, set the stage for one of the most dramatic chapters in Yankees history. As the story continues to develop, fans and analysts alike are left to speculate about the final details. Will Bellinger's presence alter the Yankees' approach at the trade deadline? How will this affect the team's minor league depth in the long term? What does this mean for other free agents? Considering their options this offseason, the possibilities are endless. And that uncertainty is part of what makes this rumor so thrilling. One thing is clear, the Yankees getting the yes from Cody Bellinger, if it comes to full fruition, is a headline that will dominate sports news cycles, spark endless debates, and leave a lasting imprint on the history of the game. Baseball has always thrived on speculation, trades, and the drama that comes with superstar movement. And this moment perfectly encapsulates everything fans live for: the shock, the excitement, and the undeniable anticipation of seeing a player of Bellinger's caliber in one of the most iconic uniforms in sports history. The ripple effects are already being felt, and as more details emerge, we'll start to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. From potential lineup strategies to the impact on team morale, and the ever-present lens of media scrutiny, this is a development that will be analyzed, debated, and dissected for months. One thing is undeniable: if the Yankees finalize this move, we're witnessing the type of blockbuster that transcends ordinary sports news. One that becomes part of the conversation for years to come. A defining moment that combines the allure of superstardom, the thrill of speculation, and the timeless drama of Major League Baseball. And in the end, that's what makes stories like this so irresistible, because in a world where trades often come and go without much fanfare, this one feels historic, monumental, and absolutely electric. A perfect storm of talent, timing, and audacity. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you stay up to date with every Yankees rumor and news. See you in the next video.